Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic, and we are now on the last episode, episode 10 of the 10 days, the 10 videos, the 10 topics. And today we're going to be talking about that there is no absolutes, okay? And what I mean by this is that we can shape, mold, or change our reality in regards to one, where we place our consciousness in regards to mind or heart, where our focus lies, where we place our focus, and also how we use our intent. Okay? And we're going to be talking about that within this video. Obviously, we've talked about it in association with a number of other things and topics, but I really wanted to talk about the fact that, our world, or this reality, being created on that things are absolutes, okay? And when we get into absolutes, and again, this is an issue where we've kind of our perception has been deceived, okay? Perception, deception. And we've been molded to think that, there are limitations. And I'm here to say there are no limitations. Okay. The aspect of duality, or the energy of duality, has created us to feel limited. Okay. And, an example of those things of duality is good and bad, or abnormal and normal. Okay. When really, if we take that middle ground, which we call the field of neutrality, or the neutrality energy, is we don't say it's good or bad, we just say it's all experience. Okay. So you can see how, if you just say something's good and something bad, you're kind of giving absolutes out, right? That's good, that's bad, that's normal, that's abnormal. And if you're conditioned or programmed to always look at something that is abnormal or something that is bad, then it's very hard that's going to have an effect on your choice making for the rest of your life. Where if we just change that and say, well, whatever experience I have in my life, whether it's bad or good, there's something good to take from it, because there's something we can learn from it. We can always use something and something that is create an experience in our reality and really transform it. So therefore mold it so that it's something that's not against us. It's something that we can use for us to keep evolving and growing. It's the same thing with using preconceived ideas or programming to decipher whether something's normal or abnormal. Does it really matter if it's normal or abnormal? If we take that middle ground again, we just see it for what it is, with virgin eyes, and experience it like we're experiencing it for the very first time. Okay, what that only does, it keeps you now in the now and in the present, and you can enjoy life, okay? Because so many times we're out here, we're being drawn by distraction out in reality, by the news or whatever other people are telling you, that we miss those very little things, which is where the beauty of life is, and it could be right in front of your nose. Okay, and that is all about perception, and perception is such an important word, because a perception, we cannot have a one perception for a collective. Perception is very aligned and connected to us as individuals, okay? Because there's not just one reality. Again, this is a thing about absolutes. There's not just one reality. Our absolutes is that there's one reality, there's one sun, there's one this, one that. But each one of us is interfacing this reality through these eyes. I can't see through anybody else's eyes. I can only see through mine. So we're actually playing out our own reality, our own perception of reality. Okay? And there's not one reality happening. There's a mass of different realities all happening at once. Okay? Because we're walking that path, each one of us individually. And perception is that uniqueness that we have as individuals. And it's not about going through, again, that absolute approach which duality has created within this reality, where if we see somebody, let's take an extreme example of that. Somebody that's got schizophrenia, okay? And for somebody that doesn't have schizophrenia and they're looking at somebody that has a schizophrenia and they're talking to someone or seeing someone which that other person cannot see or hear, and immediately we just think, well, because I don't see that and I don't hear that, their experiences, that person's crazy or abnormal because what I'm seeing is normal. Okay? When really, that person, that perception of their reality, that person that's got schizophrenia, that's hearing that and seeing that thing that we can't see, that's real to them. That's real to them. So their perception is reality is real. It's not we don't just shun it away and say, well, that's abnormal. He's talking to someone that I can't even see, so it's not normal. That is not real. It is real to them and their reality. They're playing out a reality while you're playing another reality. And we don't go into places of judgment because that's duality. Okay? We get into this field of neutrality and understand that we are individuals and we are unique and we are all playing out our own reality. Okay? And being respectful of that. Okay? And if that, what they're aligning or connecting to in their reality or perception reality, if that doesn't resonate with you in regards to your discernment of your heart, then we just see it for that reason. That doesn't resonate. Not the fact, we don't say it's not real or wrong. Okay? So, each individual is creating a reality. So hence, where that individual places their focus and uses their intent is vital into creating their own reality that they are the creator of. So again, it's getting into that space of realizing that we're not reliant on another God or external influence. We are the creator. We are the creator. And through us creating a reality, we can mold reality to our will. So therefore, it's not an absolute. Okay? But society and the matrix, like we talked about in the previous video, is telling otherwise. It's trying to program you to say this is an absolute. And you have to bow down to the absolute and give us your responsibility. And we'll look after you. Well, a lot of the times they don't look after you. Okay? That's in all reality, pardon the pun. Yeah? So there are many realities happening at once. Experts, the word experts are trying to decipher the meaning behind why something is the way it is. Scientists, people that are working in science that are bound to absolutes, they're trying to decipher the meaning behind why something is the way it is, supposing that it is an absolute. But the game changes when we say that's not an absolute, right? Okay? So we need to be at ease with our perception, okay? And we need to be at ease in that our perception will see it differently, okay? There may be a common thread through all the different realities playing out, but we must be at ease with this, okay? Because when we are at unease and we get into this whole duality view that it doesn't sit with us because, what that person's seeing is different to what I am, and there's that internal conflict within you because society or the matrix is telling you one thing, but there's something in your heart that's telling you something else. Okay, and all of a sudden we have these trust problems and these trust issues because we're being told this is the way that this world is as an absolute, but we're not also getting the knowing or the understanding of why it's like that. Okay, so we are on autopilot mode and we go about our life just doing the things that we're supposed to do without knowing, having the meaning, knowing or why or reason why we do it. Okay? And there's a lot of people living that way. Okay, so let's look at even healers, right? So, when you're looking for a healer or, and they're looking for deemed truth, you can become very confused and at unease, okay? Because when we're confused and lost, we're at unease with self because we're looking for that absolute answer. Okay, and every healer or every person in that expertise that you go to never are on the same page, are they? Okay, because that's the uniqueness. That's our perception of reality. It's always going to be different because we're not being intuitively guided by one source, because there's not one source. There is your source self. Okay? For example, true quantum healing. My mentor who created true quantum healing. And a bunch of us that became the first students of true quantum healing, we look up to our mentor, okay? And I'm so blessed to have found him and where I could have, but what do we do with that? Do we create our own image in that mentor? No, we learn from the mentor and then we expand from that using our own uniqueness. We grow and evolve with our own potential, because ascension, about growth and evolution, is not a collective or conformity thing. It's an individual thing. Okay? And where I see a lot of the times is that people that are becoming intuitive and healers, that they're searching for information from other healers and then just being a carbon copy of that person. Well, that will get you there, get to you to a certain point. But you're not being true to self, because your perception of how you see it is always going to be different to that mentor or that other person. And a lot of the times we get uneasy with ourselves as healers because we think, I'm getting this information, but it's not connecting exactly like it is to my mentor. And he's so successful, he's got so many people going to him. Obviously, I'm not getting the right answers. Well, what about if you are getting the right answers? Okay? And instead of conforming to someone else's perception, you need to be starting to conform to your own perception, because it's a unique thing. It's an individual thing. You need to trust in what's coming through you instead of conforming to what you think or who's successful. Okay? And I think that's what happens. My mentor in regards to true quantum healing always said that, and a lot of people that also in the consciousness game that make all these consciousness tools as well, is they don't give you a lot of instructions or guidance in regards to use them, maybe a few things, because these tools, your uniqueness, your perception, your ability to create past this idea of absolutes. There's no absolutes, as I say, because you can create whatever you want, right? We'll find ways of using consciousness tools and using a holistic healing system that is unique to you and that makes you feel at ease because it resonates with you as an individual. And that's why we don't give out those instructions, because it's something that you've got to create a collaborative approach with the system, with your consciousness, with your source self, with your perception. Okay? And when you get your hands, or when this becomes part of your reality, this tool that you've bought, then this automatically connects to you. You alone. This tool here is called the Ascendant. And this Ascendant gives you a greater connection to your true ascendants, those higher aspects of your consciousness and your source self. So even though that I make this tool, when this comes to you in your field, this connects with you, your uniqueness. Even though this tool I could be making for anybody out there. Okay? But this connects to your ascendants. Not one absolute ascendant, not one absolute source, your source self, your higher aspects of yourself. The key word is self, right? So, as I say, the tools that I use every day and sell, they don't come with instructions, because you need to create that bonding, that connection with your own consciousness. Okay, and that will lead you on a track that is unique and individual to you. Okay, so that will interact with your consciousness, and you will individually find the ways that resonate with you and work for you. Okay, but not an absolute. And I can't stress this enough. We are creators. We are creators. Okay, we're not meant to conform to others and keep conforming to others. We can go to others and mentors as a path to rediscover self, but we need to be a part of that process of rediscovering self and being true to self. Okay. As I say, where we place our focus, place our intent is what we will see more of in our reality. So if we place more of a focus on what's happening in the world events now about COVID-19 or protesting or racism, then we'll see more of it. That's just how it is, because our energy automatically goes to where we place our focus, whether that's something constructive or something destructive. Okay, so we use our focus to place our focus on the world we want to create, not the focus on where things are going wrong, but what we want to create. Okay, because we are creators. Okay, and where we place our focus, our intent will go into then making that. Okay, so that's, you can see how the reality, which is all bound to an absolute, is throwing all these headlines at you, which I call distraction, to distract your power to gravitate towards that focus, to create more of it. Okay? It's not about this is the way the world is. It's about putting out a fish line, hook and sinker, and you grabbing onto that, and they taking your energy away from you to create the thing that you actually don't want in your reality. Okay? Be very careful with that. And the tools, and the consciousness tools, they use to your greatest potential when your consciousness is heart-centered. Okay? And that heart-centered is a bringing your focus here, not being grabbed hook, line, and sinker by distraction. Because if you bring it here, then you use that energy to create the things that you want, that your heart desires. And these tools will be great ways to establish that, okay? These are like training wheels until your interface itself becomes the energy tool and the biggest energy tool that you'll ever want, because you'll create whatever you want, right? We are creators. And hence, when we are in a place when we understand the knowing and the understanding that we are creators, then there is no absolutes. There are no absolutes, okay? You are the most powerful tool. Same thing with the 5G. You know, the biggest thing about 5G, and Brian Besko from Twisted Sage, which is an unbelievable guy, incredible company, by the way, and his sister Brenda, they're so heart-centered. They're incredible people. And, this is what he had to say about 5G. He said the biggest problem with 5G is our fear of it. Because again, is all these people putting all this information about 5G is going to cause this, 5G is going to cause all these problems. It's all that problems. Let's take our focus to resolutions. Okay? And if we see all that, our mind gets attracted to it, and our energy goes towards creating more fear of 5G. Okay? The 5G is a emitter of frequency. It's a emitter of frequency. And what we know about energy and frequency is energy doesn't have a start and a finish. It can only be transformed. And when we transform things, that means that this fabrication of this reality is not an absolute, because we can change it. Okay? When we fear 5G, we become more destructive than the 5G itself, because we're an emitter of frequency. Okay? And we emit our power, our energy in the frequency that is not sustainable to ourselves. So we're becoming destructive and sabotaging our own creative capability by doing that. When we are heart-centered in that heart space, our auric field expands, and you'll never have to fear 5G ever again. When we get our true potential and bring our true ascendance here on this plane, when we're talking about how we're going to change things and become abundant through our auric field, which was a previous video that we did, then that's leading us to us being the energy tool and the only energy tool we'll ever need, because we'll expand our auric field with the energy that we sustain at and we're compatible at. So anything like 5G, we don't have to worry about, because it will just shift that and transform that into an energy that's compatible for us. Okay. In the meantime, we've got wonderful energy tools that allow us to establish and create a greater connection to our consciousness through the heart. Okay. And this is anchors light and frequency that is compatible to here, that we can transform the 5G, we can transform the Wi-Fi, we can transform the cell phone towers and all the frequency that is non-beneficial to us. But we really need to bring our awareness back to self, because if we don't use the power that we all have and the creative capability in the right way, we are the most destructive thing there is. But if we stick to absolutes, but if we realize that we can change anything by our focus, using our intent, our will, we can become the most constructive thing we can be. And that's as creators, creating a reality where we can shift and change anything at will. Therefore, no absolutes. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've enjoyed the series of the 10 videos. This is the climax of the 10. And I hope you've really enjoyed this and learned something from this, because why I wanted to pull these videos out was I was getting downloads of information I needed to share. And this is information that you can practice on yourself every single day of your life to create abundance and create your heart's desires to manifest in your reality. Because we are here to be happy. We are here to be abundant, to enjoy our time and bring heaven down to earth. And through a change in perception, we can make this place and every single minute a paradise.